So, hey everybody, Rick Guerrero, and today I'm here with an incredible rock star, Miss Lauren Freedman. So, I came across Lauren. I was looking for some top producers in Connecticut, and what's so impressive about Lauren is she actually picked up her phone. Which you would think, every realtor did that, but Lauren picked up her phone. We were started talking. She was obviously working. I think she was at a listing or something, and yeah, Lauren, I'm super impressed by you, super impressed by everything I read about you. You have like hundreds of reviews on your channels, and like you've won like almost 200 awards in real estate.
Yeah, something like that. I stopped keeping track.
Yeah, I imagine you have like a trophy room, probably two. You probably have a trophy basement with all the awards you've won. So in my research, let's tell a little bit about your story. You got into real estate. I believe you told me your parent was an inspector or an appraiser.
My mom was a real estate appraiser.
Okay.
So ultimately, the goal and the plan was to go work for her. In order to do that, you have to go to real estate school first. And simultaneously at that time, I was in the process of buying my own place. I think I was 18. Using a realtor, and I kind of just liked the concept of like what she was doing, but I felt like I could do it better. So when I got my license, I kind of just put a hold on, I started appraisal school, but realized, let me just start and see if I like the sales aspect of things. So that's kind of how it started.
And you got into sales. What year on the real estate sales?
What year?
Right.
Probably 2010.
Oh, okay. Okay. So 2010, for some reason, I thought it was more recent. So in 2010, you got into real estate. And then I believe, what was the year that you just took off? Was it your first year, your second year? Let's talk through your first few years.
I didn't really use it the first probably 5 years. I was in the restaurant industry, managing a restaurant, bartending, all that.
That explains it. That explains that badass work ethic.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. So I kind of just got it, put it off to the side because, I was making really good money in the restaurant industry, and it was really hard to kind of pull away from that and start something fresh. So I just really didn't do much with it. I got the license because when I bought my own place, I thought to myself, in the near future, I'm going to sell this. I don't know if I'd say flip it, but I knew I wasn't going to stay there. So I kind of just did it on the side for myself. Probably did I don't even know, maybe 3 sales for the first couple years, and they were just my own stuff. And then I want to say maybe 20. I want to say maybe 2015 is when I was like, all right, I'm not going to be in the restaurant industry forever. Why don't I kind of make the switch slowly? And that's what I did.
So when you made the switch, obviously I was looking at your production, and I don't know the exact numbers off the top of my head. But what you're doing, you're top 0.1% in the country in terms of real estate agents. It's insane, your level of production, especially in this market. So when I looked up your production, I saw year to date as of now, 100, and my numbers could be a little bit off, but I saw 150 units for $57 million, right? 60 buy sides, 90 listings. There's some agents that only do both. You do more than most agents that focus only on one. And that's insane. So what would you say was the core foundation of getting you to where your business is at now? So many people struggle in the beginning and give up. You obviously did it. You kept going. What was it that helped you get to where you're at?
It's hard to answer because that's what everybody asks me.
Right.
I mean, for me, I think what put me on the maps was really just, I worked really, really, really hard all the time. I picked up my phone, holidays. I was doing double open houses on the weekends. I really didn't go on vacation for years. I worked really hard, and a lot of people, when they call me or hear my name or something and just reach out, the first thing they would say is they're like, wow, you picked up. And I was, and at that time I was just I'm just like, what do you mean? And he's, clients would be like, well, I have an agent. I called him on Saturday. He hasn't called me back. And now it's like Monday. So I'm like, well, no offense, that's not a great agent. I'm available. So it's just business kind of slowly accumulated that way. I don't know if it's one specific thing. I think that
I think that one specific thing is work ethic.
Yeah.
I think from what and again, for those that are watching, like I probably had 2 conversations with Lauren. I don't think we've had a conversation more than 5 minutes. This is our first time talking, but in my seeing you online, seeing your activity, and when we talked, you're usually driving to an open house. So to me, you have a higher work ethic than most now. And yeah. I imagine that you brought that work ethic from your time at the restaurant. So my background is retail. I used to work in a clothing store. I used to sell suits and deal with wedding parties and tuxedos. So when you deal with the average consumer at a high level every single day in a restaurant or retail, you bring that to this industry, you're already ahead of 90%, 95% of people, because we have a work ethic that's higher than most that enter this industry. I find most that enter this industry do it because, I can work from home. I can make my own schedule.
Yeah.
You can. But to be a successful entrepreneur, your schedule is 24/7.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
You're not working 9 to 5.
Yeah. When people ask me, I do some coaching and mentoring and whatnot, or just people when they ask me for advice, and they're like, I have 3 kids. I want to be able to make my own schedule. And unfortunately, I'm not trying to be pessimistic, but I'm like, it's actually the total opposite. You really can't make your own schedule. You're at the schedule of your clients. So yeah. I have clients that work 9 to 5, so I can only work with them from 6 p.m. on. I have clients that are they work overnight, so I have to be available in the morning. I have clients that are on call. So everybody has different schedules. I have clients that can only see me for 1 hour on their lunch break, or I did a walkthrough at 6:30 a.m. 2 weeks ago because that's the only time they could do it. And I was, yeah, I'll get up and do it, whatever. But yeah, you have to be, and then you have to work holidays. Not everyone celebrates holidays. You have to work weekends. That's the busiest time, and when people are done working, that's when they're available to view properties. So in the summer when it's light out, I'll be showing until 8:30 at night.
8:30 at night, in the dark?
Yeah, in summer, even right now, well, actually, I had a showing request last night for 7:45. And I said, I have no issue with this, but it is going to be dark. Are you okay with that? And they're like, yeah, we'll bring flashlights. Okay.
Well, that's great. I cold call agents daily because I feel that even as a leader in the industry, you have to be doing the work. I think if I'm going to preach to my team to do the work, I got to do it myself. And I'll call loan officers at 6:30 and they'll be like, hey, I'm not working right now. Call me later. I'm like, yeah. All right. What if I was calling you with a referral? What if I said I have somebody pre-approved looking to buy in your market? Call later. All right.
Yeah. I don't know, but that's also part of the reason why there's some very unsuccessful agents, or they only do 5-10 transactions a year versus doing anywhere from 150 to my biggest year I think was 286 in 1 year.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so that was crazy.
One of the things that I truly, truly appreciate about you, not just your work ethic, your drive, your you just putting it all out there, but for me, I feel in our industry, in any industry, but I feel specifically about ours, this can be stressful. And I think it's important that we all have an outlet. And for me, I think it's important to have an outlet be around wellness. It's important that we take care of ourselves. Mm-hmm. And I know that and obviously, if people are watching, you can see Lauren looks fit. I know to you, fitness is a priority as it is to me. How does that help with your mindset? Or is it that essential to help? For me, I have to do it. I do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and I have to do it because after calling realtors all day long, I just want to punch somebody in the face. So I go to jiu-jitsu so I can choke somebody unconscious.
Yeah. No, fitness has always been a huge part of my life, and I think it's really important, but it's kind of just that 1 hour of me time. I just need to do something for me and feel good about myself when I'm doing it. And, just, it makes me feel good about myself. it's still hard because it's not an hour off from work. So if someone calls me, I pick up the phone and I stop my workout, or, I see clients at the gym, and, as much as you kind of want to be like, can I just get my hour of workout? And you have to talk to them. So it kind of like almost simultaneously goes with each other. I mean, a lot of my clients are people I've met at the gym. And that's how you build the first connection. And then, but yeah, I think it's important.
And obviously, like, you're fit, as we're both live this lifestyle. It's not just the gym. It's about prepping your food. And I imagine with your crazy work schedule, like, how do you do that? Do you have
well, I will
food
tell
prepared for you?
I wish I meal prepped. I wish I'm like, it depends my schedule is so different every day. So it depends. If I'm on the road all day, what I eat is going to be so different than if I'm working from home. Or the one thing I'm not good at probably is like meal prepping and like eating this, which I should, but I'm so busy that I have such a fast metabolism that I think it works.
I'm so jealous of you.
Knock on wood.
Girl, I ate like some bread this week and some cookies. Like, I already feel bloated. Like, oh my gosh, my 6-pack is gone.
I haven't even had time to eat yet today. I haven't even gone to Starbucks. I had my coffee in the morning. I ran to the gym. Then I had a few clients. Now I'm doing this. So I haven't even, who knows what I'll end up eating for lunch, but it is what it is. There's balance.
I find the days, like yesterday, I was in Denver over the weekend. I was networking at some real estate networking events. Got back in town Tuesday night. So yesterday I had no food prepped. So when I don't have food prepped, I just go out to like the grocery store and get a rotisserie chicken.
Yeah.
And I just eat that.
Oh, I've done that before. It's perfect. Yeah. You get like 3 meals. It's the easiest thing. I mean, I will tell you, last week I hard boiled a crap ton of eggs, and I just
my wife does that.
Salad in different ways. So that was easy. That was a couple meals, but
yeah, we got to find ways to do it, because like you said, like, wellness and fitness isn't like a hobby. It's my lifestyle.
Yeah.
And I feel I want to be the best I can. I want to be the best me for my clients and my partners. And by being the best me, I have to do that.
Yeah, I agree.
Otherwise, I'm gonna cuss somebody out and start drinking. I can't. If I start drinking, I go down the wrong path. I need to stay away from alcohol, which is why I need my fitness.
I'm with you.
So another thing that you really crush it at is your social media.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that. So, do you get business from social media? How has that helped you? Do you feel realtors should be more active on social media?
Yeah, I mean, I also think what helped me was I started big in social media, like before, I guess it was really a thing. So going back maybe 10 years ago, I would just post like a lot of what I was doing for work. If I was showing houses, I'd go there 5 minutes early, video the house a little bit early, and then post it for other people. Or, when I put something on deposit or a new listing, I would post it. And I don't think a lot of people were doing it at that time. And it just kind of created a lot of conversation. I got so many clients that I never would have expected from social media, but I have a big network of people, clients, friends, social media. So for me, it's really helpful. It's hard, I guess, if someone's starting from scratch with no real big following. But I get a lot of business from it, and I use it in the right way, I think, at least. Some days I feel like I could do a lot more with it, but it's also hard because business comes first. I sometimes forget about social media in the sense where I'm at if I'm doing 5 showings back to back, sometimes I just don't even think about doing videos and that type of thing. Or if I have a photo shoot going on for a house, instead of being at the photo shoot, I'm doing showings or at a closing. So you do what you can, but I think it's important in this day and age.
Well, I think you do an incredible job. Even just connecting with you recently, I would follow you. I mean, I think I commented on something you posted today. You do a good job of sharing, hey, take a look at this house, take a look at this listing. And you do a good job of not really bragging, but educating. You almost have a heart of a teacher, of an educator. right?
Yeah.
And like you do such an exceptional job because I think a lot of realtors struggle with social media. They're like, I don't know how to post and not brag. I don't want to share my stuff and brag about my whatever. But
Yeah.
you just do such a masterful blend of not bragging, but posting in a way where it's like, check out this beautiful listing. And I like to think that that's where a lot of consumers are like, all right, so this realtor actually does showcase properties. This realtor isn't out just playing around and having fun. And you do such a great job there.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I think sometimes anything you post, because it's just, could be taken the wrong way. I mean, if you post an award, you get a lot of congratulations, but then you're always going to get, I guess what you want to call haters or whatnot. I don't think anyone really,
You have haters?
I don't know why. I mean, there's no reason, but there's always going to be someone that's not as successful as you are that tries to take away from what you're doing.
Yeah, that's why, because they're not as successful as you, right? Yeah. Haters only hate because they want to be what you are.
Exactly.
Like you'll never see a billionaire hating on somebody that's trying to buy their first investment property.
Yeah. No, it's, right? I don't know. I mean, I guess it's in every business, every career, everywhere. You just push it off to the side. But yeah, I mean, I don't like my social media. I present what I can. I like to showcase properties. I like to be engaged with people if they reach out and ask me questions. I like to answer. It's not just about like all my accolades. And, when I do get an award or something, I definitely put it up there. But the majority of it is really just kind of like giving a little inside scoop out to the public and hopefully getting some business from it.
Yeah. And I don't think you really post much of your accolades on your social media. Some of the stuff I saw that I liked was you sharing like your perspective on certain situations. And like I remember there's a video of you sharing your perspective of a buyer situation. And like I thought to myself, like, this is what realtors are going to be doing. Why are realtors not sharing more stories or success stories with their clients and showcasing how we helped people get into home ownership? Home ownership shouldn't be viewed as like negative, rates are high. No, this is the American dream.
Yeah.
We live in a country where we can own our own home.
Exactly.
And we have a career where we can help people achieve the American dream of home ownership, which is so gratifying.
Yeah, I mean, I there's always a negative to something, but why go on about the negative when there's so many positives? So, okay, the rates may be a little bit high, but I mean, if you can qualify to own a home, I mean, that's the American dream. Go for it. That's the whole, one of the biggest parts of life, if you will. So, I mean, there's so many sayings, date the rate, buy the house, there's always a positive and a negative to everything. But I think it's important for people to realize, that they can, have the American dream and own a home or find a way to make money, investors flipping. I mean, there's so many different avenues you can go, and why not try to get people more knowledgeable on it and share it?
It's so bizarre to me, right? Like we get paid to help people get into home ownership. Like, why not educate them more on all the things you just said? Why not focus on that instead of posting stuff about I'm going on, like, there's so many realtors that post this stuff that make our industry look bad, and not necessarily like the stuff that you do where you're showcasing homes, you're educating, and it's disappointing.
Yeah. Yep.
But there was something you said that I was going to piggyback. Oh, so when you have a client that comes to you and says, I don't want to buy yet, rates are high, I want to wait till rates drop. What does your conversation look like?
I mean, I think everyone's situation is different. I don't have like I don't open up a book and I'm like, here's my blurb that I say. I think it really depends on everybody's situation. If you can qualify right now to buy and you're spending X amount in a rent, I usually go over the difference of what you're spending in a rent versus what you're getting when you buy, even with your high rent. So like that type of scenario, I sometimes go over, so I will tell you it's hard if someone's going from having a very low rate to debating selling to buying something else with a higher rate. That's more like an in-depth conversation of really like what you need, your needs, Your financial needs for everybody are going to be different, but ultimately, if there's so many avenues of in the future of the rate dropping, doing just a different type of mortgage up front that has, adjustable rates, variable rates. It really just depends on like that specific person's needs.
Mhm. No, and what I heard you say, and I think this is brilliant, like you try to understand their needs. I'm guessing you ask questions, you listen, and then you explain the the opportunities.
Yeah.
And I think that's actually the perfect answer because you listen. And I find that many realtors aren't necessarily listening. They don't know what to say, or they just try to say what they want you to hear.
Yeah.
I remember Tony Robbins speaking at a conference a few years back, and he said that he wanted to buy a house in Florida. So he went to this realtor and says, I want to buy a house in Florida. Here's what I'm looking for. And that realtor didn't listen, didn't show him the house that he was looking for, showed him a beautiful mansion that the realtor thought that he would like. So he was saying that he went through 3 different realtors because none of them listened.
Yeah. You have to listen. My opinion really means nothing other than it's an educated, knowledgeable opinion, but it's my opinion. Ultimately, the client is the one making the decision. They're the one buying, they're the one selling, and what they are looking for and their needs are going to be different than mine. So if someone wants to see a house that we all know is literally will make them house poor and it's at the absolute max of their budget, I can give advice and opinion and advise, that type of thing. But ultimately, if that's what they want, that's what I'm here for. You're hiring me for that. If you want that house, I'm going to get you the house. It's just some people, maybe the first time home buyers could use guidance, but ultimately I work for the client. So,
right.
My knowledge is a wealth of knowledge of what you're going to get from me. But if you want something, I'm here to provide it as best as I can.
And I think that's brilliant. You work that you work for the client and you're advising them and guiding them through this process, through all your experience and knowledge, and listening to them and helping them get into what is best for them based off of what they told you.
Exactly. Yeah. And some of the newer agents, I have to say it's really hard. If you're a new agent without the experience, it's hard to take that role on. These questions you're going to get and not be able to answer, or be stuck in these situations where you're in these bidding wars and not sure how to get your clients. It's difficult. In this market and the market we've had, it takes a lot of experience and someone with knowledge and someone that's really doing it full time to be able to get the client what they want. It's competitive in a certain sense, but if you do it the right way, it can be such an easy process.
Yeah, and I just love what you're saying. But I have probably an unpopular opinion. I feel that any agent that comes new into the industry shouldn't be an agent on their own. I feel they should intern under someone like you that's going to guide them on how to do the job correctly. Because we have just so many people, and it's not their fault, right? As an industry, we welcome everybody in, but we don't really provide them the training or the guidance or the mentorship to be successful. Which is what we have.
I was just telling, I don't know who I was talking to last night or the night before. I was at a Christmas party with a couple agents, and I said, I just don't understand how in this day and age, there isn't a requirement for that. I personally think that there should be a mandatory requirement after passing your exam to go to shadow under an agent with X amount of experience or X amount of sales, or someone with a broker's license. The exam isn't your day-to-day, everyday knowledge that you're going to use. That's the exam is 10% of actually what we do, and nothing in the real world going out there, just typical protocol, how offers should be presented, how to write them, how to go over the paperwork, the forms. There's just how to just conversate with your client about the market. The exam has nothing to do with that. No real life. And I really think that whether it's a mandatory requirement or just common sense to do that before taking on clients is really, really important, because it's just going to backfire in your face. Even the first couple of years when I barely did it, I eased my way into it. I could never just jump into it right now. I'd have no idea what I was doing.
Right. But I imagine you eased into it. You probably had a mentor to kind of guide you a little bit that you could ask
Yeah.
questions from.
Oh
So,
yeah. Yeah.
but
Yeah. No,
I
I mean,
also imagine,
there was someone that I went to for questions, and she helped me, and that was what I needed. And even still to this day, I mean, I'm one of the top agents in the state, and there I will still have questions, and I'll have to call somebody, and if they usually don't know, and then they have to call someone higher up. And there's a lot of legality, there's a lot of things that you think are
it's a
common
complex
sense.
industry. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I learn something new probably every day.
That's wonderful. That's I never expected for you to say that. I mean, not because you think that someone successful like you or at your tier, all this business, like most people think they know it all, right? And especially in our industry, there's so many arrogant, ego-driven people that think they know it all.
Oh
I being
yeah.
as well, right? On my side of the fence as well. So for you to say that at your level in the business, like I applaud, and I hope more are listening to this because we can all still learn more. Like
Oh
our
yeah.
industry is changing. We can all be better. We can all improve. Like there's something that we can all learn from one another. We don't all know it all.
No, no, and especially with all these new rules, change, laws changing. I mean, new contracts. I mean, even when they come out, I mean, I review them, I look at them, and I'll, go over meetings or whatnot to learn them. But you still don't really know them until you actually use them multiple times, and then they change again. So yeah, every day there's always something new. Nobody knows everything. That would be ridiculous.
Yeah. So I imagine when you started, you made a few mistakes in your career.
Yeah.
And I mean, as of I feel like I'm still making mistakes, right? Like, and I feel that there's so many in the industry that they're afraid to make mistakes, so they don't try. Like they think mistakes are a bad thing. What's your
Yeah.
perspective on the mistakes you made in the past, the mistakes you're currently making, and if you're going to make mistakes in the future? Like, how do you look at mistakes?
Well, I think every mistake you learn from, and if you
Bingo.
don't learn from it, I think you're not.
Hopefully,
Yeah, I mean, you should learn from it, and if you're not, then that's a problem. So you can't
or
continue to
hopefully,
make the same mistakes. Um,
hopefully you learn from it again. The second time you make that mistake,
yeah, okay, third time's a charm. After that, I don't know. You got to talk to somebody, but
get a counselor.
yeah, yeah. No, you have to. You have to. Everyone's going to make mistakes. I even made one the other day, and I was like, and it took me a minute, and I was like, oh wow, I'm like, that's my mistake. I'm so like, I just it I don't even know if it was overlooked, but I made a mistake. And I thought to myself, okay, now I know I need to really pay attention to this date from now on. I have like, whether you want to call it an assistant, a transaction coordinator, buyer's agent, people that help me. But ultimately, I'm still the professional. So like, you can't rely on someone else. And I overlooked something and thought someone else would catch it. So but yeah, you got to learn from your mistakes. God, I mean, I made so many back in the day. I look back and so much time wasted on certain things that made no sense. But you learn from
And
it.
all that has molded you into the incredible professional you are today, right? So
Exactly. That's what I chalk it up to. I mean, I wouldn't be where I am right now in my career, in my industry, if I didn't go through all of that.
yeah, I tell people, I'm like, embrace your mistakes because that is the best learning lesson. You're not going to learn better than making mistakes.
Yeah, no. You have to. I mean, nobody's perfect. And if you think you don't make mistakes, I'll call you out on all of them because we see them all. You have to own up to it. You have to learn from it. And you know,
Look, I'm
everybody
married.
does.
I'm married and I have a 6-year-old daughter. I'm told twice a day from 2 different people all the mistakes I make.
Well, like there are mistakes in everything. I'll
Yeah.
think I make a 5-star phenomenal dinner and the whole thing's a big mistake. Like in everything in life, but in your career, really, like you just have to learn from it.
Love it. Love it. Well, we'll wrap this up pretty soon, but just a couple more questions for you. We're going into 2025. This is December 12th. I'm not sure when this will be published in Inman, but assuming it's published right now, do you business plan? Have you written a business plan for 2025? Like, what is your perspective there?
So I haven't wrote a business plan yet. And as much as people may kill me for saying this, I don't necessarily really write one.
Okay.
I think things change so much throughout the year in my industry that it's just not something that every year is the same. Nobody would have ever thought COVID happened. Nobody then would have, everyone thought that happened and they thought the market was going to crash. The market never crashed. Rates, no one really knows what's going on. So it's not that I don't write a business plan. I've already kind of like realized what I want, certain things I want to focus on more than the others in 2025. So, and again, certain things that I made mistakes on this year and wasted time on that I'm not going to do next year, things like that. That's kind of, I kind of go monthly with as the months go on and what I'm feeling for that year.
Gotcha. So if I understand you correctly, you kind of feel the situation for that month and adjust your activity or adjust how you're going to approach things based on what you're feeling and or I should say feeling, what you're reading. It's almost like you read the room and you're like, all right, here's what I'm feeling. Here's what I'm reading. Here's what I'm going to do. And you kind of adjust it monthly or quarterly or wherever you feel based off your reading.
Yeah. My industry, I think, is really seasonally, as much as I hate to say it, quarterly. So, if you plan to do something in January, it's going to be very different in June in the height of the spring market. So I just kind of, every month or two, just sit back, reflect, check what I'm doing, my sales, how I'm going about listings, buyers, good, positive, just kind of how it's going. And I just adjust accordingly and know what to focus on or not focus on. Do something more of this or pull back from this.
Awesome. Well, I won't ask you any more questions related to your business. In wrapping up, I like to just ask questions related to you. Like, what, obviously crushing real estate, what do you do that brings you joy? What are the things that when you get home at night, you look forward to doing? Netflix and chill. Obviously, I know your little puppy there, your cutie pie.
My dog.
My last.
Huh?
That's Mabel.
This is Mabel. She's what is she? She's like 1 year, 2 months, and then my big boy is back there. He's a rescue Frenchie. He's 8.
I'm gonna take a screenshot. Put Mabel on the screen one more time and smile. I'm gonna take a screenshot. All right, there we go. He's perfect.
So my dogs, I'm a huge animal lover. I mean, my dream is to have a farm on the water, which sounds crazy because I love the water, but I love animals. I'm a big Netflix person. I come home, I like to cook, hang out with the dogs. I like to go out, have some wine, try new restaurants, but I like to travel, but I'm a big homebody. So that's me. Yeah.
Love it. So red or white?
I like both. I have to tell you, summer I'm white, winter I'm red.
So I'm not big into wine probably as much as you are. I like more bourbon, but I like Pinot is red, right? Like a Pinot
Noir, yeah.
I like a Malbec.
Okay, yeah.
For you,
I mean, Pinot Noir is the lightest, so I like Malbec. I like Cabernet. I mean,
I like a Cab.
Listen, I'll sit and taste 10 in a row, and I'll tell you which one I like. But yeah, I mean, they're all different. It's nice to try new restaurants, new specialty cocktails, that type of thing. I'm not a huge drinker, but it's nice to go out, new atmosphere, and try new stuff.
Well, what I hear you saying is you like to enjoy life.
I do.
Yeah.
I like to work really hard. I mean, my number one thing in life is, in a sense, is working. I like to have a good lifestyle. So I work really hard and then I enjoy life.
I'm trying to get my dog to come over, but she's passed out. She's like,
what kind of dog?
She's a 14-year-old overweight Weimaraner.
Oh.
Molly, come here, Molly. Come here, Molly. Wake up. She's just looking at me crazy. So I also have like a 5-year-old Weimaraner puppy, but I had to take her to doggy daycare today because she's like cracked out every day.
Oh, yeah. This one I think
she'd be jumping on me right now, biting me, trying to play. I'm like,
oh God. Well, the whole time she's been at my feet trying to jump up, but yeah, they're good. They're little potatoes.
Well, my last podcast episode I did with an incredible lady, and we both had our dogs on us. I'll just send you the link. I posted the thumbnail of both of us with our dogs. And I think
Oh,
I
I
started the
love that.
podcast episode saying this is Pups and Mortgage.
Oh, I love anything dog, anything
Uh,
animal, right?
they're the best, you know.
Yeah.
The dogs are the best. I struggle. If you're a cat person, we just can't be friends.
I mean, listen, any animals, whatever, but I am a dog person. I would have 10 of these things if I had a little bit more time.
Oh, well, pretty soon you'll have that farm and you'll have 10 of them.
I know. That's there. You never know.
Well, I appreciate your time. Is there anything you want to leave our viewers with, realtors with, Inman with before we wrap this up?
I mean, I don't know. We talked about a lot, but I just think it's important to, work really hard. I mean, if you want to be successful in any career, mine or anything else, I think it's really about hard work and dedication and just knowing your career, knowing your industry. I wouldn't be where I am today if I didn't know what I was talking about. People hire the best for a reason, and you have to bring that to the table.
So putting in the work, constantly learning, educating yourself, improving, learning from your mistakes, making mistakes.
Yep.
Great stuff.
All of it.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time. For those of you watching, Lauren's Instagram and what other channels do you have where people should follow you?
Really, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, but I'd say, Instagram is the big one for me.
Cool. So follow Lauren on Instagram for more tips, tricks. Reach out. She's amazing. Don't reach out too much because she's trying to sell real estate. But thank you so much, Lauren.
Thank you.
All right. Before you hang up,